I find myself installing the panniers as the very first job that has to be done when I'm preparing to go motocamping. I position the bike as shown in the garage, usually facing outwards, and then I start installing these SW Motech side carriers. Just turning the little screwdriver fixtures, I guess. I don't know what you call them, but anyway, they fit into little slots in tabs that are permanently mounted on the bike, and that's one of the main selling features for this system. I like the fact that it can be removed because I don't like to be riding around with these side carriers sticking out all the time. So just putting it on when I need it and taking it off when I'm done is fantastic. And I've got these little lockable knobs that you can install in place of one of the fixtures, and that secures the side carrier to the bike. You can watch this video here. I'm going to just throw up the thumbnail on the screen and see what I'm talking about. The whole installation of the system. One of the more recent bits of kit that I like to install is this Selfie Stick, extendable Selfie Stick, to which I attach my Insta360 X5 360 camera. That captures all around, but I use it primarily for the rearward facing shots. But it's really good to have this on there. The only concern, of course, is not riding too close to anything. Because I have this fear that this long pole will snag on something as I'm going by. But if you install it correctly within the width of the bike's handlebars, you should be fine. You don't want it to be too long because then it'll shake too much. But the good thing about this is that it's collapsible and you can store it when you're not using the camera. So that's great. With that out of the way, then it's just a matter now of getting the garage stuff. I've got a couple of shelves that are behind me towards the workbench, and on those shelves I got various items like tables and camping tables and various other items, grills and stuff like that. So any of that stuff that lives in the garage, I tend to get ready for packing up onto the bike and deciding whether I'm gonna put it in the top box or where. These are two tables that I ended up not bringing actually, and I regretted not bringing either one. The next phase of packing out occurs in the office, where I keep my SW Motech Sysbags, and they're half loaded already, but depending on whether I'm going motor camping or whether I'm going hotel camping, I might have to swap out some of the contents inside. For example, I think I just removed the kettle, which I would bring when I go hotel camping, because when I go hotel camping I bring a kettle and pour over coffee and all that. Then you see I'm putting in my CPAP into the panniers there, and I pack various things. I think on the left pannier I pack stuff that are like toiletries, clothes, this and that. And on the right side, I pack out things like sleeping bag and tent and whatever else goes into the. Here I'm trying to put the tent into that side, but I put it on the floor for now because I'm thinking as I'm going along. This is the right side pannier. As you can see, I've got it left and right as you're facing the two panniers right now. And the right side, I've just put the. What I put onto my tent mat. It's a nice insulating pad that goes underneath the tent mat, and that's an excellent addition to my camping supply. Here's my sleeping bag. Excellent Nature Hike downfill sleeping bag. Not too warm for the summertime. Well, for the warmer months because I don't go in the dead of summer. And definitely warm enough for the winters that we have here. Packs down real nice and small, and excellent sleeping bag. Everything has its place in the panniers, of course, but then from time to time they might switch I might switch them around and they might move. But in general, the tent and the camping stuff happens on the right side pannier, and the stuff that goes on the inside of the tent, my personal effects and all of that goes on the left. So that's how I've been packing it out. But in this case here, you can see I put the tent on the left for balance, because I got some other stuff in the right side, and I had some space on the left. So I was trying to see whether the tent would fit inside, and of course it will. It will. I just don't want the bag to be too tall. It will fit inside, or I could put it on the outside. I've got straps that I can strap the tent onto the top of the panniers, so that's not a problem. But in this case here, I decided to put it on the inside, and that just reduces the amount of stuff I have to go on the outside of the bike, sitting on top of the dry bag, for instance. So to just close these up, you just fold over the top, and then clip them together, clip the two ends together, flip over the flap, and then cinch them down with the quick release buckles. Real nice system, and it's watertight, waterproof, and very durable. I can't say enough about these. I really like this system. Since these crash bar bags live inside my office, they're installed at this point, because I bring them down when I bring the panniers down into the garage, and they typically have things like towels and my puffy jacket. Essentially what I do is I put soft stuff in these bags, because the real function, or one of the main functions of the crash bar bags, is to provide padding for my crash bars. So if the bike was to fall, it would land on these pads, on these crash bar bags, and they would add as a padding. So I've got my soft panniers, or my Sysbags, at the back, and these crash bar bags in front, and the bike is well cushioned. Can't forget to crank up the preload on the rear suspension of the bike. I'm adding a whole bunch of weight in terms of panniers and dry bag and all of that stuff, plus not to mention the fact that I'm going to be sitting on the bike, so you got to stiffen up the suspension. And yeah, 18 clicks I find works well for me. Very comfortable, very stable ride, and yeah, I normally ride around with 12 clicks, but 18 clicks is for when I'm camping. There I'm attaching the panniers, just slide them on, they just snap into place, and then I'm going to put these steel braided or steel cabled locks. These are, I forget the name of them, but I'll put a thumbnail up on the screen. They're just a deterrent for the casual thief. Anybody that is walking around with snips probably can cut through those, but I can tell you, in shortening those straps, I've shortened those straps, and you would see that in the video if you watch it. In shortening those straps, it is very hard to cut through the 3 strands of wire that is in the nylon strap. So even a casual thief would have, he'd be messing with that for a while. So it's a very good purchase, I think. I suppose you can pick the lock quite easily, but I mean, like I said, it's good for the casual thief. I don't usually leave my bags on the bike overnight if I'm staying in a hotel. I usually bring the bags upstairs, so the bike is not left unattended with the bags attached and locked in place for very long. One of the last things that I install on the bike is the dry bag, and that's largely because when the dry bag goes in place on the back seat, the top box lid kind of gets, it can't open fully. This is a 40-liter Oxford dry bag. I have a 60-liter SW Motech dry bag as well, but I found that was too big. Even this 40-liter has got lots and lots of space, and I probably bring even more stuff than a lot of people. but I'm comfortable when I go camping, so I don't mind. But yeah, I loop these two straps, the black straps, nylon straps, around the back arms, you can say, of the side carriers, of the SW Motech side carriers. I just loop them around there, bring them to the front in a crisscross pattern across the top of the dry bag, and then I use bungee cords and a rock strap on each arm to attach it to my foot peg, and that works perfectly. Yes, it does slide forward a little bit from time to time, so kind of encroaching on my sitting area, but it's not a big deal. I could tighten it up some more, I guess, but it hasn't bothered me so far. I just, push back on the dry bag, and it goes back towards the top box, and it stays there for another how many miles until it slides forward again. Not a big problem. I could use another set of bungee cords, I guess, to kind of like tie it backwards around the bottom of the top case, but that's yet to be done. Final step is cinching it all up, making sure that the straps are nice and tight, and that's what you see me doing there now. The last step for me is to put the 360 camera on the mirror mount on the right hand side, and I don't start off by putting it on the selfie stick, but to put that on there and to set up and make sure that it's connected to the GPS remote, which sits on the handlebar in front of the tank bag, because when I have that 360 camera out on the pole, it's too far for me to reach to turn on, so I need a remote. So with the loadout all completed, I am ready to depart. And my wife is doing the shooting right now on her cell phone in portrait mode. I usually ask her to switch it into landscape mode, but I guess it was automatic for her to hold the camera vertically. Anyway, here I am getting my headset all set up and getting the GPS CarPlay unit activated and ready. Cowboy mount onto the saddle, bike is ready to go, and I just take off after this. I'll resume this video from Martin Dice Jr. State Park, where the actual camping part of the trip starts. So I'll see you then.